Hello, everyone, and welcome to our May 2023 full moon forecast. Can you believe that it is May? So, on this Friday, May 5th, you might be watching it then, you might be watching it the day before or after. We have a lunar eclipse. So, a powerful window has been open for the last 2 weeks or so, which is the eclipse window that gives us an opportunity to really expand the container of who we are and to unearth some shadows, some parts of us that have been living in the dark. So it allows us to see into those dark places and rise those parts of us back into consciousness, back into the light, expanding the container of who we are. But I am getting ahead of myself. Welcome if this is your first time tuning in. Welcome back if you are a regular listener and watcher of these transmissions. My name is Charlotte Alea Dovechild. I like to call myself a New Earth Priestess. I'm a spiritual guide. And in these videos, I transmit a message for us, for any and all who are watching. If you're here, you're meant to be here. That is a message from my guides, from Great Mother, above and below, that supports us in our evolutionary journey and that helps us to come into pristine, beautiful alignment with the cosmic energies, with the earth energies, with all the collective juiciness that is at play, so that we can utilize this energy for our highest good and for our evolutionary paths and for our heart healing journeys. Okay, so what I do is I draw 4 cards for us from the Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. I don't have the box, but these are the cards. And I draw 1 card that is our lesson for this moon and for the coming couple weeks. And then I draw 1 card that is about our shadow, what is coming into consciousness that has been hidden. 1 card that is our gift, what is for us to receive at this time. And then the last card is the wild card. So what other surprising or unexpected energies may be at play for us? Okay, so let's dive in. We want to right now pay special attention to the shadow energy because we are in an eclipse window. And so I will be talking a lot about that as we go through these cards. Let's start with our lesson. We have Mother Wind. And I am just sort of all of a sudden transfixed by this image. I don't know about you, but you see the figure 8 that she is weaving with her wings, her golden wings and her golden dress. And we are in the golden ray of sovereignty right now within the 13 rays in the wheel of the year. So you can see I'm wearing my gold. And so what message, what lesson does Mother Wind have for us? And by the way, wind within this deck is the air element in other decks. And the mother is the divine feminine principle. She is the embodiment. And so we are thinking about the embodiment of the air element. This is telling me that when I think of Mother Wind, I think about like your favorite professor in college who was so knowledgeable and had so many books on their shelves and could quote so many different scholars and authors. They were just like this well of information. You know, it's like they seem to just know everything about everything. And you could go to them and they'd always have an answer. And so this is the energy that is present, is this well of information within us and new information coming to light. And within that information, there is going to be some gems of truth that our consciousness wants us to sort of navigate towards. But it can feel confusing amongst all of the information. And so our task right now is not necessarily to, if we feel kind of full of thought, full of new truth, full of new insight that is coming through for us, to not right away decide what to do with it, or decide to even like speak it and to share it, because what I'm getting is that it's not quite ready yet. There is this opportunity for us to sit in the cauldron of our own wisdom, our own knowing, our own truths, and the information that is coming to light within us, and to keep it and to stir it and to see what else of the story begins to reveal. Because there is so much more of the story that is going to be revealed to us in the coming days. So it requires us to be a little bit detached from our minds, detached from our thoughts, to allow ourselves to be the channel for the information, right? But not yet its pioneer, its spokesperson. And so if you have a journal, this is the time to just let it flow, just get it all on paper and witness, like, oh, there's this piece, but wait a minute, there's also this piece. How do they fit together? How do I reconcile the differences of this information? Because Mother Wind is also the queen of paradox. She embraces paradox. Things don't necessarily all fit together in a linear way that makes sense to our minds, right? It can sometimes confound us. And when our minds are confounded, that is the moment that we are so close to breakthrough. That we are so close to breakthrough. So this is our lesson, is allowing space for new information to come to light, to allow ourselves also to become the seeker of new information, and to begin to weave the story together, but not decide that the story is complete yet. Because let's move to our shadow. We're probably going to come back to this actually, but I want to share a bit about our shadow now. So now we have 6 of Earth. So Earth in traditional tarot decks is Pentacles. And I love that this card is called Beauty. We've had this card come up in these readings before. Today, it is sharing with me a very specific message, and it is connected to that word beauty. It is connected to the principle of sacred geometry, and how everything has a sacred geometry that harmonizes with everything else, including us. Each of us at our essence has a sacred geometry to us. And this essence of us harmonizes with absolutely everything else on this planet and in the universe. Okay, so why is this coming up as our shadow? Because through culturalization, we come out of coherence and resonance with our note, with our sacred geometry. We fall into dissonance, actually, with the greater, wider world, with the natural world, with the universe. The culture that is dominant has these artificial structures, belief systems that are taught to us all that bring us out of harmony. That it's like what's coming through right now is like if you were to be playing this beautiful, beautiful music, or no, you arrive, here we go, you arrive to this incredible like concert in the forest, and it's like these string instruments are playing and the birds are playing along and the winds are included, and it all just harmonizes in this incredible way where the sound is just amplified by the mountains and the hills, and you're like, wow, never have I heard something so beautiful. And then someone comes in with a boombox, if you're old enough to know what that is, and turns up the volume on this really loud, staticky, like the music that doesn't even sound like music, and it overplays over all of this beautiful, subtle, orchestral music that is sounding within the forest. So that's sort of what the culturalization does to our own inner, our own sacred geometry. So we are being invited right now to bring to light ways that we are not in resonance with our true sacred geometry, with our true beauty, with the ways that we actually harmonize with the rest of the world. When I was meditating with this energy, I was thinking about our house cats. And if we have a cat that goes outside, and even our cat, like, you'll sometimes you'll spy the cat just sitting there, just zoned out, right? Sitting on a rock, sitting on underneath a bush. And people think like, what's that cat doing? What that cat is doing is exchanging energy with its environment. It is exchanging information. All of nature is in a constant exchange of energy and information and is harmonizing with its environment. And all of nature knows how to do this innately because it was never thrown off out of its own sacred geometry vibration, right? And so for us, we have this beautiful opportunity as we bring to light ways that we are not vibrating as ourselves, as our authentic selves, through stuck belief systems about that define for us who we're supposed to be in some certain way. And so for us, it is to truly question these cultural belief systems or these belief systems that have developed around trauma. That can also really throw us off from our natural harmonic vibration and sacred geometry. So for us to truly question these belief systems and to allow the truth of who we really are, what our true resonance is, how we truly flow with the rest of the world, not the culture at large, right? Because our natural vibration, we might actually be holding on to a lot of fear that if we might know what our natural vibration is, but if we were really loyal to that, then we're going to lose our place. And that is a big fear story that so many of us hold that simply isn't true. Holding on to that story makes us so lonely because we are abandoning ourselves and we are blocking ourselves from all the support that is around us all the time in the natural world, where we see and feel that we are not alone. Because once we come into our natural vibration, we begin sharing energy, exchanging energy and information constantly with the world around us. It just flows through us, out of us, and into us. We don't even have to try. It's just the natural way of being. This is, the law of competition, right? We're taught this lie about how survival of the fittest. And I know that might be true at some level, but it is not the organizing principle of our world. The organizing principle of our world is actually cooperation. If you look around, you go outside, you see everything harmonizes with everything else. And it does that through that natural exchange. It is very, very lonely to cut ourselves off from our natural harmonic nature, our natural sacred geometry. And once we do make that choice to come into resonance with who we really are, we break the bubble. We break the bubble and we feel and receive that beautiful song that is singing all around us. and we get to sing along. Okay. Let's move on to the next card. So let's move on to our gift. And here we have a major arcana card. We have the Hierophants. This is the Teacher card. And weren't we just talking about the Teacher? These energies feel so similar to me today, actually. And the Hierophant is the teacher of the laws of the universe, the teachers of deep wisdom, universal wisdom, right? And so we have been living in a world the last couple thousand years that has taught us that to receive this wisdom, we must go outside ourselves. We must seek a spiritual teacher or guru or priest or minister, right? And so that is who the Hierophant often is represented by on this card. But we are shifting into a new paradigm where we are discovering that all of that wisdom can be remembered through our own bodies, through our own cells, through our own DNA. It is already here. It is simply that process of unpeeling the onion, unpeeling the layers, and inviting ourselves to remember by coming into that true resonance of who we are. Once that happens, once we say, okay, yeah, I'm going to retune myself to my true frequency, then we are creating space and inviting the symphony to talk to us. And it can arrive often as this pristine knowing, a knowing that's like, yes, this is what it is. This is what is the truth. All that other information that's been flowing through me on all these different levels doesn't really matter. It's not that important. I mean, it's interesting, but now I know how to get to the crux of the truth, of the laws, of how this universe works, how I work in harmony with everything else, how the universe gets to work for me, with me, and I get to work for the universe. I'm just feeling into this desire that so many of us have that everything just feel a lot easier, right? And I know this has been a theme that I've brought up a few times where life can feel so hard. It can feel so hard to manifest the things that we want in our lives, or shift our consciousness, or to feel better, or to just not be in this muddled, confused, stressed out place. One of the ways that we can come into a place that is flowing is to clear that static. Notice right now what is static, right? Rather than fighting against it, rather than trying to hear through the static, what about turning off the static? Because that's what a lot of us are trying to do. We're actually trying to listen to the static and figure out there must be some kind of guidance in the static. There must be some kind of solution in this noise, right? Or we are trying to listen through the static. Okay, I know it's here. I just have to listen deeper. What if we could actually turn it off? And we do that by allowing the static to fully let itself be known. Let itself be known and say, and so we can clearly say and discern that's static. Over there, that's static. And over there, that's truth. We get to become our own teachers, but in another way, the boundaries between us and something that's like my truth, this is coming from me, blurs to what is gifted to us through our environment. And I've been reading about unity consciousness lately, and this is what they talk about, is that there is this free-flowing exchange between beings who are resonating in unity consciousness, where it feels like it's coming through you, but it might not actually be coming through you, right? It's coming through you being in harmony with your environment. And so there is almost like one consciousness at play, right? And so with this Hierophant energy, it's this great teacher, we have to recognize that this is a higher power, a higher consciousness that is taking up home residence within our being. And this higher consciousness is not like this, like, dude up here in the sky, is actually the composite and the beautiful flower and rose, actually thinking of the symbol of the flower of life right now, all coming together and it being this flow of energy, right? That higher power, that higher consciousness is constantly moving and flowing and is really all of us together. Ooh, think about that. That higher consciousness, God, universe speaking to us is all the people who are awake and in harmony with their soul's note, with their sacred geometry, all speaking together. Kind of shifts like how you think about your highest self, right? That your highest self is not in isolation. And it also, it's a little bit, I don't know if humbling is the right word. A little bit. It's a little bit humbling. It's like, this isn't actually coming through like me, Charlotte. This is coming through me. This is coming through me from a greater cosmic system that I am plugged into now. Okay, so that was the transmission for this card. That feels complete. Let's move on to our wild card. And now we move from 5 and we move from 5 to 6 with the Lovers. And this card came up for us, I think 2 months ago, actually. So the Lovers. This card has a very specific message for us today that I was feeling into. And it has to do with reflection, and mirroring. And so there is a extra bonus energy that is at work right now that is inviting us to discover and tune into and shift our focus towards those people that are reflecting our true nature, our sacred geometry, our true tone. And they may be doing this by them simply being themselves, right? So perhaps you see yourself in them being them. And that inspires you. And then that activates something within you. Okay, so that is one way. The other way may be through them seeing you and straight up reflecting you, the true, beautiful aspects of you back to you. So this is what we want to be around right now. In order for us to have that greater clarity and of who we are, we want to see ourselves in others. And you know what? This doesn't even have to only come through other human beings. It very well might, but it can come through animal friends. It can come through the flowers that are growing everywhere, the trees, the plants that we are growing in our gardens. It can come many different ways. It can come through crystals and stones. We can be reflected in so many ways in our environments. So if you notice a reflection of you that does not feel resonant, tune away from that and ask, create a intention and space to be shown the reflection that shows you your true nature, your true resonant tone. And be open to where this comes through from. Allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised. And if you have the opportunity, offer this back. Offer this back to others. This is the moment, I talked about there, it might not be ready yet for you to share your truth, but then you will get to a point where you will then be ready. You have sorted through the noise and you know that true note. And so sound it so others can hear it. And so they might be able to hear themselves in you. And then if you have the opportunity, if you are with a friend or someone close to you, or even a friendly stranger, if you see something in them that is so beautiful and so precious, reflect it back to them. Reflect it back to them. You will not even know what a gift that is. Even in the moment, if they're like, okay, well, that didn't really land, or if they're like, I don't really get that. It might be weeks later that they're like, that they get it from another source and they're like, whoa, oh, remember when that person that I met at this event said this thing, right? So with permission, of course, you don't want to start giving advice or reflection to someone you don't know well without asking for permission. So please ask for permission first. All right, so those are our cards for today. I believe that is it for our transmission today. I wanted to share that I do have 2 new offerings on my website. One is called Freedom from Karmic Contracts. This is a ceremonial process to unearth a ancestral contract. So some way that you are tied to your ancestral karma and patterns, unearth it, and in a ceremonial process, release it, untether yourself from it, and cut that cord. This is a transformational process, and the feedback that I have been receiving from those that have completed the process is truly phenomenal. So go check that out. I also have something called Bless Your Body, and this is another ceremonial experience for yourself where I walk you through a self-anointing and self-consecration ceremony that will support you through a rite of passage or a life change. And this can be simply you deciding, I have this new intention that I'm going to begin living by, and I want to bless my body, bless my whole being to enter into this new phase with so much love and so much support. So you can go check out both of those offerings on my website. I am still offering readings at this time via Zoom. I don't know how much longer I will be, but I am for now. And so you can go check out that as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you again next month for another full moon transmission. And before then, for other topics. We'll see what else wants to come through in the meantime. Send you all lots of love and many healing full moon blessings for this powerful eclipse portal. See you soon.